Welcome to the online classes by RPS. Today we will be continuing with the chapter Sound, and today is the second session of this chapter. In the previous session, we have learned about how sound is produced and about types of musical instruments. In today's session, we're going to learn about how humans produce sound, how sound is propagated in a medium, and a small activity to demonstrate that sound requires a medium to travel. Now let's talk about how sound is produced by humans. Children, put a hand firmly on your throat and try to sing something. Can you feel the vibrations in your throat that produce the sound? Now sing it low and high. Can you feel the difference in vibrations? Yes, we can feel the vibrations in our throat, and when we sing low or high, we can feel the difference in vibrations in our throat. We actually have a voice box in the throat region, and the sound is produced by the voice box or the larynx. Now let's talk about this in detail. Human beings have a voice box or larynx, which is present in their throat on the upper side of the windpipe. The larynx has two vocal cords which have a narrow slit between them so that air can pass through it. As the lungs throw the air out of the windpipe, it passes through the slit and hence allows the production of sound as the vocal cords start vibrating. The vocal cord muscles also play a role in the production of sound. Their thickness and tightness describe the quality or type of the voice a person has. The vocal cords in males are of length 20 millimeter and females have 15 millimeter long vocal cords. Children, on the other hand, have very short length vocal cords. Hence, the voices, their quality, and their type are always different in women, men, and children. Now let's talk about the propagation of sound. Do you know what is propagation of sound? Propagation of sound is the traveling of sound. Sound is propagated by the to and fro motion of the particles of the medium. Sound always requires a medium to travel from the source of its production to the receiver end. Different mediums of propagation of sound are air, liquid, and solids. Please remember, children, sound cannot travel through a vacuum as it lacks any medium of transmission. Now let us talk about how sound travels in a medium. Medium is necessary for the propagation of sound waves. The matter or substance through which sound is transmitted is called a medium. The medium can be solid, liquid, or gas. But remember, sound cannot travel in vacuum. A true vacuum refers to the complete absence of matter. Sound wave can travel only through matter. So, sound needs a physical medium in order to propagate anywhere. We hear sound which comes to us through air medium particles. And do you know how aquatic animals communicate? They also communicate because sound travels through water as well. Now, do you know, children, sound through water travels 4 times faster than through air. And if we compare the speed of sound in solids to the speed of sound in air, we will learn that sound through solids travel 13 times faster than through air. Now here is a small activity to demonstrate that sound requires a medium to travel. For this, we need an electric bell, a glass bell jar, a vacuum pump, battery, key, connecting wires, and a cork. Now place the electric bell inside the glass bell jar and connect it to a battery and a key through connecting wires. Next, close the bell jar with an airtight cork. When the switch is pressed, the hammer of the electric bell strikes the gong and the sound is produced. Now, remove the air present inside the jar with the help of the vacuum pump. Now again press the key and notice the change. Now, allow the air to enter the jar gradually and observe the change. We observe that as the air is taken out, the loudness of the sound decreases and becomes too faint. Finally, we do not hear the bell, even though the hammer of the bell is seen striking the gong as before. But when we allow air to gradually enter the jar, we find that the sound slowly starts increasing. So, what do we conclude from this? We conclude that sound cannot travel through vacuum and that it requires a medium to travel. Medium can be anything. It can be air, it can be solid, it can be liquid. Now comes the time for another interesting fact. We all must be wondering that how do astronauts communicate in space? We know, children, that there is no atmosphere on the moon. It is vacuum on the surface of the moon. So, we cannot hear any sound on the moon because we know that sound cannot travel in vacuum. Astronauts have devices in their helmets which transfer the sound waves from their voices into radio waves and transmit them to the ground or other astronauts in space. This is because radio waves can travel in vacuum also. Now let us talk about the speed of sound. The speed of sound changes with the change in medium. Speed depends on the physical state and temperature of the medium. At higher temperature, the speed of sound is higher, while at lower temperature, the speed decreases. The speed of sound is maximum in solids, lesser in liquids, and minimum in gases. As we can see in the table given alongside, that the speed of sound is minimum in gases and it gradually increases in liquids and it is maximum in solids. That's all for today's session. In the next session, we're going to learn how do we hear. We're also going to learn terms related to sound and characteristics of sound. Till then, stay home, stay safe, goodbye.